All right, let's get into it. Taking a company public is one of the most intense things a business can ever do. It's not a sprint, not by a long shot. It's a full-on, grueling marathon packed with intense prep, a ton of hurdles, and one final, high-stakes race to the finish line.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? How does a business go from being this private thing to something that you or I can just buy a piece of on our phones? Well, that's the exact marathon we're going to run through today.
So here's our race plan. We've got 5 key stages. We're going to start at, well, the starting line, where we build the team. Then it's all about preparing for the big day. Think of it as the training montage. After that, we need to get the green light from the officials before the offer finally goes live. And then we'll hit that last sprint to close the deal.
Okay, first things first. No one runs a marathon alone, right? And a company going public is no different. The very first step is to assemble a super specialized team of experts to guide them through this whole crazy process.
And this is a team sport, for sure. You've got registrars who are kind of like the race administrators handling all the paperwork. You have bankers managing the money, and of course, legal counsel making sure every single rule is followed. But the real MVP here, that's the lead manager. They're the head coach, the strategist, the one guiding the company through absolutely every step of the way.
So, the team is in place. Now the real work begins. This next phase is probably the toughest part of the entire marathon. It's where the company's whole life story, every number, every contract gets put under a massive microscope.
And this phase has a name: due diligence. It's this incredibly deep investigation where the lead manager and their team dig into every single corner of the business. The goal is simple, but it's absolutely vital. Make sure that every claim the company makes is true, accurate, and complete. This isn't just about checking boxes, it's about protecting the people who are going to invest their money.
And when I say deep, I mean it. The team goes through everything: the company's founding documents, its charter, years and years of financial reports, all the major business contracts, and any potential legal skeletons hiding in the closet. Literally, no stone is left unturned.
So all this painstaking work, all this digging, it all leads to one single incredibly important document, the offer document. Think of it as the company's official biography, its business plan, and its financial confession all rolled into one. It's the story that it's going to tell both the regulators and ultimately you.
All right, time for the regulatory lap. Once that story is written down, it's time to get it approved by the race officials. In India, that means one thing: the Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEB. They're the ones who give the final thumbs up for the IPO. Now, 2 key documents pop up here. First, the company sends a draft offer document to SEBI to get their feedback. After they make changes, it becomes the red herring prospectus. This is the version potential investors get to see. And it's called a red herring for a pretty cool reason. It has almost everything except for the final price and the total number of shares being sold.
And with SEBI's feedback all sorted out, it's finally race day. The offer goes live, the starting gun fires, and for just a few days, the public gets its very first chance to bid for a piece of the company. This is the moment of truth.
But wait, what about that missing price? How do they figure that out? Well, there are 2 main ways. You can have a fixed price issue, where the company just tells you the price up front. But what's way more common, especially for big IPOs, is a process called book building. Here, they give you a price range, a floor and a ceiling, and investors bid on what they're willing to pay. The final price gets discovered based on real market demand.
So, how wide can that price range be? Could a company say, hey, it's somewhere between $10 and $1,000? No way. The regulators have put a very specific guardrail in place: 120%. The highest price in the band can't be more than 120% of the lowest price. It keeps things from getting too crazy and helps keep the valuation in a reasonable zone.
So who's actually doing all this bidding? Well, the shares are split up among different groups. You have retail investors, which is probably you and me. You have high net worth folks, and then you have the big fish, qualified institutional buyers, or QIBs. Think mutual funds and big investment firms. There's even a special group of them called anchor investors who get to bid a day early, just to build some confidence and momentum for the IPO.
Okay, the bidding window is closed. The price has been set. The race is almost done, but now comes this final, lightning-fast sprint of logistics and paperwork to officially make this company a public one. This is a really important question. What if, after all that work, the company just doesn't get enough investors interested? Does the whole thing just fail? Not necessarily, because the team has a built-in safety net for this exact situation.
And that safety net is called
Underwriting. It's basically a guarantee from the investment banks on the team. They formally promise to buy up any shares that the public doesn't buy. This makes sure that the company is guaranteed to raise the money it needs. It's a huge deal.
And this isn't just a nice-to-have feature. The regulators actually require it. Every single IPO has to be 100% underwritten. This is a massive guarantee to the market that when a company announces an IPO, that deal is going to happen. It prevents a last-minute collapse that could really shake everyone's confidence.
With the money fully secured, that last administrative lap begins. The team works to finalize who gets how many shares, they zap those shares into the investors' demat accounts, send refunds to anyone who didn't get shares, and then they get ready for the final, most exciting step of all.
And this last part happens incredibly fast. So T is the day the IPO closes. By T+1, the very next day, they figured out who gets what. By T+2, the shares are in people's accounts. And by T+3, just 3 business days after it all closed, the stock is officially live on the exchange for anyone to buy and sell. The marathon is done.
You know, throughout this entire long journey, this quote really sums up the whole spirit of the lead manager's job. They aren't just there to make a deal happen. They have what's called a fiduciary duty, a fundamental responsibility to protect the interests of the investors who are putting their trust and their money into this company.
So the company has finally crossed the finish line. It's a publicly traded stock. But let me leave you with this thought. After a marathon this grueling, is the race really over? Or is becoming a public company just the start of a brand new, even longer race with a totally different set of rules and expectations?